Hi everybody, welcome to the second Facebook Live session for Blogtober and the final one for this month. If you didn't know, Blogtober is basically a month-long campaign where I'm going to be sharing lots of useful content to do with blogging, to encourage SMEs and solo business owners to be confident with blogging and enjoy it as well. So in this session, we're going to go through how I come up with blog post title ideas for my own business blog, how I help clients, and also in my own sort of personal blog as well, because I blog outside of my business. So it's a really simple two-step method. If you see me looking in this direction, it's because I'm looking at my notes. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm very aware of it. Anyway, so today, we're going to go through this two-step process. If you've got any questions throughout, feel free to just drop them in. I'm going to answer any questions that come through at the end. If you're watching this on the replay, then again, ask questions and I will respond as soon as possible. I will also drop in a few links at the end to some resources that I've mentioned, and typically if I've forgotten to mention any that will be useful, I'll drop those in as well. So let's get started. I'm going to share the method that really works for me in terms of coming up with as many blog post ideas as I can, but without that feeling of being overwhelmed of like, I don't possibly know where to start. So this is where you start. You start by watching this and finding out the best way to do it. And the first step is, it's the more difficult one, but it's the most important one. And that is knowing who your target audience is. So you might have a general idea of who your ideal customer is, but I would say that the more detailed that you look into that, the better kind of blog content ideas you're going to come up with. But you don't have to spend hours and hours, days and days coming up with this. I actually have a worksheet that I will link to at the end, which is basically lets you create your personas on a really basic level to kind of decide who they are, what they want, all the basic stuff, so that you're not really just too bogged down in the detail. So I'll share that one in the end. But that's the first part, really, is just determining who they are and what they want. Because if you don't know that, then you're just creating blog content for the sake of it, or even worse, you're just creating blog content for yourself, which is obviously great and you probably find it enjoyable to write, but is it really going to help your business grow? Maybe not. So that's step one. Step two of the process is basically coming up with the categories that your blog post titles are going to sit under. So I call these content pillars. They're essentially, I would pick maybe a minimum of 3. I wouldn't pick any more than 5, but they're subtopics within your sort of business niche that you could write about. You could write about confidently, or you could write about with enough research. So for example, if you sell pet food, your content pillars could well be, for example, you could have pet care. So you could write blog posts about looking after your pet. You could also have nutrition posts. So outside of promoting your own product, you could talk about things that are good for pets to eat. And you could also have things like, trying to think now, my mind's gone blank. So you've got pet care, you've got nutrition. You could just kind of do like more fun stuff. So like what are called listicles. So list articles that are things like about cute pets, because people love reading and sharing that sort of thing. So with each content pillar, you should really have an idea of the goal for that content. So the category, if it's pet care, your goal might be to promote certain products, or it might be to sign up to a newsletter where you send monthly tips to do with pet care. There should really be an end goal to every single individual blog post, but you might have an overarching goal or a couple of overarching goals to do with your content pillars. I use content pillars and categories interchangeably. They are the same thing. Categories is probably the more traditional way to describe it in terms of how you would organize the content on your blog, but I quite like pillars. I like the picture of the sort of columns that you could kind of write down on a piece of paper, which I highly recommend doing. Go old school, pen and paper, definitely the way to go when it comes to brainstorming blog ideas. Although saying that, if you really want to get into the nitty gritty and you are going to take blogging really seriously, I do have a blog post planner as a downloadable resource in my free resources library, and I will again link to that at the end of this video. But if you sign up to that, you get to sign up to my monthly newsletter and you get loads of tips and stuff like that. But that resource is basically a spreadsheet that will have the content pillar as one of the columns. It will have the blog post title. It will basically have everything you need to plan that blog, so you're not literally sitting down and staring at a blank screen when you decide it's time to write, which is really scary, even for someone who blogs all the time. If I don't already have some ideas up here, I really struggle, and I will literally be staring at the back end of my website and just thinking, I've got no idea what to write about. Whereas if you have a planner, you've got a bank of ideas ongoing. So what would your content pillars be? It massively depends on your business, obviously depends on your target audience. Just have a real think. If you brainstorm absolutely loads, you can trim them back. If you're really struggling to come up with them, maybe have a look at what your competitors are up to in terms of their blog content. What subjects are they kind of delving into? And a few other tips for coming up with the right ideas are, so a really good resource is called answerthepublic.com. Yet again, I will try and remember to put the link to this in the comments afterwards, but answerthepublic.com is basically its own little search engine where you could type in your whatever topic you kind of maybe thinking of writing about, and it will give you loads of ideas based on what people have been searching for as to how you can kind of like niche that down. So if you, I'm trying to think of another example that isn't the pet food again, but I will use that one again. So if you would type in, say, natural dog food, as that's your product, that's what you know about, that's what you sell, you could type that in and have a look at all the questions that come up around that. So people might say, like, what should I be looking for when buying natural dog food products and that sort of thing. And those will help generate some nice blog post title ideas and give you a good jumping off point to decide whether natural dog food as a content pillar is going to generate enough content ideas. So use Answer the Public. If you fancy getting more into the data side of things, if you're quite comfortable looking at that and you're quite sort of tech savvy, and that's not to be patronizing, Google Analytics is a really great tool. But the tool I'm going to recommend is actually their AdWords keyword planner. If you haven't used it before, it can be a bit daunting, but it's really, really great for showing you the search volume of certain keywords. So again, you could type in your content pillar keyword or phrase and see what comes up, and then you've got some topic ideas. Or if you've got the content pillar, but you've got some topic ideas already, but you just want to make sure that you're kind of like wording it right, then that's a really good tool to use. It gives you the search volume of how many people are searching for that term in a given time, which is really useful in terms of search engine optimization, which is a whole other topic which I can help you with. And that's it really. That is literally your two-step process: figuring out who your target audience is and what they want, and coming up with your content pillars and topics. The blog post planner is a really good way of just, if it still feels a bit like overwhelming and you're not sure where to go, the blog post planner that I've got will really help you out. I do also have a few other blogging resources in my free resource library, which include an individual blog post planner. So you've got your idea, but you need to kind of just plan like what you're going to include within the post. So that's on there as well. And that's it really. If you guys have got any questions, like I say, please let me know, post them here. I'll sign off shortly because there doesn't seem to be anyone around at the moment, which is fair enough. It's 4 o'clock on a Thursday. This was the time that could work for me. I am hoping in the future to start doing evening live sessions so that you guys can hopefully make it onto those. But yes, this video will be posted as a replay, so pretty much as soon as I end it, so you can always just post any questions on there. Please also, if you can, give the replay a share so it reaches more people. I'm really passionate about helping SMEs and solo business owners with blogging, with any online content whatsoever. So if you've got any questions about that at all, then do not hesitate to get in touch. If you want to keep up with what's going on with the rest of Blogtober, you can follow along on my Facebook page, The Content Consultant, and you can also go along to the blog on my website, where once a week I'm sharing blog posts all to do with blogging. So the URL for that is thecontentconsultant.co.uk/blog. But yet again, that will be one of the many links that I will be posting on the replay. Thank you and bye.